Hey guys, I'm Tess, and today we have why chasing younger women kills attraction and what actually works. So do this instead. Okay, point number one is how to get the hot girls to chase you. No BS. So I am a 35-year-old catwalk model with 2 degrees, and I'm also a dating coach and the boss of 12 other models who go on actual dates with our clients and coach them on how to improve. This is going to be a deep dive into the female psychology, especially how older men can attract younger, high quality women. So I actually have a couple of personal stories that really relate to this first point. And it's really about having the social skill to dominate or be prominent in the environment where women are, which just draws so much female attention. So yeah, the first example, there was this guy I was seeing a few years back who was from Germany, and he'd only been in Australia for about 3 months before we met and started dating. And, we'd meet up and go on a date around Bondi in Sydney, near where he lived. And we'd just be walking down the street. And it felt like, every 100 meters we walked, someone would be like, "Oh, hey, Simon, how you doing? How you been?" We'd go to a cafe. Everyone knew him. Everyone liked him. And actually not even just in Bondi. Sometimes when we'd be in the CBD or something, same thing would happen. I just feel like, how is this possible? This guy's only been in the country for 3 months and he knows so many people. I've grown up in Sydney my entire life and it wasn't really happening to me. So yeah, again, it just drew so much of my attention, and it was so attractive to me because yeah, I was just amazed at how this guy had built such a network in such a small period of time. And it really came down to, yeah, his supreme social skill, which was just quite a natural talent of his. So he was super lucky. Yeah, but so, you can see that it's not really about being young or rich or handsome or tall. It's about learning how to attract more energy and attention than other men in a given environment. And this is the hard science of female attraction. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second. But yeah, another example in my own personal life is actually a partner who I've been with for the longest period of time. And same thing, a little bit different, but this guy, it's like when he enters a room, everyone knows about it. He's just got this huge commanding presence, and it's more like an energetic thing. He is very outgoing as well, but yeah, just having that energy that everyone, when you enter a room and everyone knows he's there, that is hugely attractive to women. Yeah, everyone knows you're there. All the women, where the attention goes, that's where women's attention goes. That's what they're attracted to. So, other examples of that might be guys who are on stage, presenting, public speaking, or playing in a band. Those are really, really obvious examples that I'm sure all of you are very well aware of because it's so common. But if you're able to have that presence in every scenario, and scenarios where there are women who you're trying to attract, it's going to have the same effect. So you really, really want to be working on this. This is like a superpower skill. So James is going to be joining me in just a second. Here's James. Hey, James.
The big-nosed old one. How you doing with the grey beard? Great intro, Tess. You did a great job of that. Yeah, to sum this up, it's not PUA nonsense, which is still all over YouTube, really well marketed. It's about your social intelligence. It's about being able to read signals. It's about being able to start conversations. It's about to be able to turn yourself into a leader in the situation. I think Tess might have said something. Obviously, handsome, rich, young is things guys think you need. They don't hurt. Tall, no bullshit. That is very powerful. But this even destroys tall. It's just, there's hard science. Women are hypersensitive to where the energy in the room is going. And that's what attracts them the most. Nothing's even close. This is an evolutionary thing where women are hardwired to seek out the leader in the situation, which often isn't the tall, handsome, rich one. An example I use is there's some skinny hipster dude who's living in his mum's basement on unemployment benefits, playing guitar, 80s, 90s guitar, rock at some suburban band. And there's like a hedge fund dude and a surgeon and a private equity guy and a professional athlete in the room. Who do all the girls want? The guy up the front getting all the energy. Try to get hot young girls off Mick Jagger at a Stones concert. I wish you luck. You'd need some skills. So yeah, I've used this skill. This is probably one of my biggest skills of all. One of the things I'm best at teaching. I'm not saying you need to like what I like, but I have got like the hottest girls I don't deserve at yoga studios so many times I can't count. Cafes, restaurants, bookstore cafes, one of my all-time favorites. Cafes in bookstores. Obviously my job for many years has been taking guys out to bars and getting them started. Bars, the number of times I've just charmed a barmaid or made friends with the bouncers and got crazy results. I should tell some stories soon. In a corporate environment, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. It's like, why are you talking to me? Oh, someone remind me, I don't want to get too caught up in this point. I want to get into other points. The story about what happened to me 2 nights ago was like an agency model hot girl who just graduated uni, and me, this old dude, when there's a whole bunch of young model looking biohackers in the room. Tour groups, traveling, gym. There's so many places, and this is stuff where I've had tremendous success. It doesn't matter where I've had success. Is you can apply these skills to where you want to meet the women you really, really, really want to. Did you want to add anything else to that, Tess?
Yeah, I mean, just to give you guys a comparison, it's like, if you're putting a woman on a pedestal and just approaching her and trying to be impressive with whatever techniques you've got, your pickup artist techniques or whatever it is, and just chasing her, basically, it basically just pushes her away. And I'm sure so many of you have experienced that as well. But when you have the social skill to, on the other hand, to draw the woman's attention and get her to be interested in you before you even make that first move, you're winning straight away. So this is a supreme skill. It's really, 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 it kind of beats everything else.
Okay, Tess, anyway, that's Tess. Anyway, you can see it for longer. That's Tess. So yeah, just explain to me these 2 stories you told. How does that compare when you see guys do that? How does that compare to some tall, rich, potentially rich, handsome guy just coming up to a girl as hot as you on the street, where that's not a particularly big thing for you? It might be for a really average girl or a below average girl, but for you, how does that Bondi guy or whatever, the other guy who takes over a room, how does that compare to the tall, handsome guy just coming up to you when you're going about your daily life? Not that that's bad, but just how does it compare in terms of female attraction? Yeah,
it's not bad. I mean, if a tall, rich, handsome guy came up to me in the street, I'd probably be like, "Oh, you're tall, rich, and handsome." Not that I could tell he was rich, but it would also be taking me off guard. So just because of that scenario, I would be on the back foot and probably have a little bit of a barrier up, be like, "Oh, yep, who are you? What's this about?" Which is completely different to me being like, "Ooh, who's this guy? I hope he comes over and speaks to me, or maybe I'll try and, get his attention so that he comes and speaks to me." Completely different. I'm already chasing him a little bit before he comes and speaks to me, as opposed to just being taken off guard by someone I don't know.
Thanks, Tess. Yeah, this story I'm going to tell you will just blow your mind. It really blew my mind. That's cool. So that gives you an idea. If you want like average or below average girls and you're an above average guy, go do your silly pickup artist cold approach. You should do a bit of that because it's great to get a bit of your anxieties out. But yeah, if you want the best girls, and if you want them in a very time efficient manner, because we coach sort of busy guys, you want to do it by taking over the social situation and manipulating where the energy in the room or the community is going. That's one of my great skills. One of the things I'm so passionate about teaching on boot camps. Okie dokie. Next one is just do more approaches is insane. Whenever you see YouTube videos from marketers and YouTubers, it's like, yeah, you got to be tall, rich, and handsome and have a big black what's it, and you just got to go out and do more approaches. It's just so dumb. It is so profoundly dumb. It's like some guy who wants to make money in sales, getting the phone book, if that still exists, and just calling. And he's called, say I picked up the phone book and said, hey, I've got a bunch of models I've trained to be dating coaches. Would you like to do my course? I'm a woman. I'm married. Piss off, pickup artist. It just be constant rejection. And that's what happens if you go up to random girls in random situations and just start pitching them. I'm not saying don't do it. I've done it. It's a great stepping point, and I'll talk a bit more about this. But don't make that your strategy. We've had a freaking Stanford educated lawyer fly from, where did he fly from? Do you remember? Anyway, we've had a few of them. Stanford educated lawyer flies from Europe. He lives in Boston. Anyway. And he's still running around. He's 6'6". He's still running around thinking he's going to get his dream girl doing cold approaches. There's like, what's a tall, handsome guy with really wide shoulders acting like a dick for? Particularly when he went to Stanford. Yeah, so that's a stepping stone to get better, but it's not the way you do it. One of the big things is when you start approaching a lot of girls, and it doesn't go that well sometimes, particularly if it's just a stranger in the street or even a stranger in a bar or something. You start to, sorry for those who don't meditate, who think I'm a bit of a spiritual hippie wanker, you start to pick up a little bit of bad energy and a bad vibe. And then when you've been rejected a whole bunch of times in the last week or two, which most pickup artists do, the new girls, particularly if they're hot, and even if you're hot too, even if they're average and you're hot, they're like, oh, this guy's got some weird stalker, potential rapist energy. I don't know if I'll talk to him much. And yeah, back in 2006, 7, 8, I hung out with some of the very famous pickup artists, and pretty much every one of them had that vibe. And some of them had literally done thousands of approaches a year and got like one blowjob from the ugliest girl they approached, and a few dates with some very toxic girls. That was really the output of all their running around being an idiot. What was I going to say? Yeah, just to finish that with the story, I'll throw to Tess in a second. There was a pickup artist, a dating coach. He was one of the most successful ones by the metric of YouTube metrics. He was charismatic. He was 6 foot tall. He was athletic. He was absurdly funny. He was absurdly confident. And this guy did, I think it was a 20 city tour of the Midwest and the South of the United States of America with an accent, and didn't get laid once. And he started asking my bisexual girlfriend at the time why he didn't have much luck with women, despite the fact he had way more charisma than me. And some people think I'm somewhat charismatic, way more charisma than anyone. It's because he was just being a weirdo, a very charismatic weirdo, but a weirdo nonetheless. Tess, do you want to talk about the answer to men's problems? I should have let you talk first, because you keep going.
No,
you can understand female psychology. Just going to understand female psychology. I'll throw to the pretty one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess this one, it's really about, if you think it's a numbers game, like if you keep doing if you're just like, oh, I don't care about being rejected, I can handle that. It's just, the more approaches I do, eventually someone's going to say, okay, not exactly the right approach. So it's, quality here is definitely important. You don't want to be going out and reinforcing your bad habits, keeping on making the same mistakes and then getting rejected over and over again. Because as much as people say, some people think that rejection doesn't, it doesn't affect them. It does. It really does. And even if you think, no, I can take it, I can handle it, you're almost like psychologically programming yourself to expect that if you keep just doing that. So yeah, it's quality is so important. And again, going back to point one, if you're actually able to draw attention from women in a particular environment and then pick up on those signals that they're trying to get your attention, that is an invited approach, and that is so much more likely to go well than just doing something random and approaching random people without any of those signals. So yeah, it's I think indifference is good. Indifference is really good, but yeah, you can't be making the same mistakes all the time, because and you want to put yourself a step ahead of everybody else. That's just going to be a huge advantage.
Okay, thanks, Tess. So a couple of things. We're getting a wee bit better at this YouTube live thing. So what I do now is I'll tend to go through some points with Tess, and we weave in the most powerful ones, like there's some in the middle and there's one or two at the very end. So yeah, please hang around and get this. The other thing is Tess has a hard deadline tonight. She's not feeling the best. So an hour and a half in, you guys just throw these amazing questions at us that are the real value that we give you. This stuff's great, but it's answering your questions, blasting through your sticking points, helping us understand guys who come to us on YouTube as distinct from guys who do these, whatever, somewhat expensive boot camps with us. So it's helping us understand what's holding you back, because whatever it is, you're gray, you're fat, you don't think you're very charismatic, you work with computers or programming every day, you've been absolutely torched by women in the family courts, or just treated like shit or taken advantage of. You've got all these hang-ups, particularly about younger women, and it's through your questions that we can support you and help you. Because yeah, if you'd told me when I was 29 or 39 that at 54 23-year-olds would still be effortless for me, I'd go, you are smoking a crack pipe. That's not even possible. I'm not saying all 23-year-olds, but a lot of them, particularly when you apply what Tess and I teach you tonight. So yeah, just hammer us with questions. That's where the real value for you is. And we're not going on for 3 hours like a Tarantino movie anymore, or a Scorsese movie. So yeah, hammer us with your questions early. So points we've covered so far is just do more approaches is insane. And yeah, get the hot girls to chase you, which is really what tonight is about. Get the hot girls to chase you. Or it might not be tonight. For those of you watching the replay, it could be any time. So yeah, hammer us with you as your questions. And yeah, a lot of guys, 40s, 50s, 60s, the idea of talking to women 20, even 30 years younger than you scares the crap out of you. It's really not that bad, especially given how they've completely castrated nearly all younger men. I met one last night, totally castrated by society. Okie dokie. Next up, we have hot girls hate rejection. Hot girls hate rejection. Hot girls hate rejection. So stop being a beggar. Stop being a beggar. Go into interview mode. You need to do a few of the other things we teach and test teachers on Zoom and on boot camps. You're not just going, hey, will you talk to me? You're really pretty. Yeah. How's your day going? And yeah. Can I get your number? Don't be that buckwit. Interview girls. One of my big secrets is when I meet a young hot girl or an older hot girl or whatever, it's like, okay, so yeah, whatever, I do my 2 minutes of chit chat or 5 minutes of chit chat or whatever, we're in a group situation. Oh, so she's pretty hot. So tell me that last great book you read. And if I don't get a good answer to that, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you're not hot enough to get a second question. Because if you don't read books, I'm not interested in you. If she's like supremely hot or of some value to my business, I might go, oh, so she's a bit younger. Also, tell me if you won lotto tomorrow, where would you most like to travel to? Or if she's a bit older, I'd go, oh, so tell me about the best place you've ever traveled. And the amount of dates and sex that's got me with women I just do not deserve to be anywhere near, simply because I'm going, oh, okay, well, you seem pretty I'm not saying this. I mean, my body language is, you seem pretty boring to me. I don't know if I want to invest any more time and energy in you. For all the pickup artists, many of the dating coaches on YouTube, you're plowing. You're just trying to find some way to hook her and get attention. There's, I don't even know what it is now. What's the world's population? 8.5, maybe 9 billion. There's 4.5 other billion women in the world. Don't worry about that one. Just find one where you've got connection. This is so important. You want to treat dating as a vetting process. You're like interviewing employees. If you can just, obviously touch, eye contact, body language, style, female psychology, sex, date plan, all the stuff Tess and I rattle on and on and on about, that Tess is a master at teaching you. Once you start knocking off most of those boxes at even an adequate level, you got to start deciding, okay, what is it I'm looking for? And so many high status guys, you just don't do that. You're like, oh, she's pretty and she's not a bitch to me and she's got some kind of nice energy at the start. Well, yeah, I can just meld in with her hobbies. I had a guy as an very early stage employee of a company that's probably worth 100 billion or something, say that to me. I was like, what? Dude, you should be a chooser, not a beggar. Tess, do you want to cover that when a guy comes up to you and it's just like, listen, whatever I need to do for you to talk to me for 5 minutes, for you to give me your number, for you to go on a date with me and potentially even let me get into your pants, I'll do it. Just tell me what it is and I'll be there. Just teach me how to make you like me. Please, please, please. What's it like when some guy comes up to a former model with 2 degrees who's got all these really cool hobbies that a lot of hot girls don't have? What's it like when guys come up to you in beggar mode, which is most cold approaches? Explain that to the gentlemen out there.
Yeah, it is just, it's pretty pathetic, really. And, I think all people have this sort of innate built-in thing that we want what we can't have, right? It's like the grass is always greener on the other side sort of thing. So when you've got someone who's just, in beggar mode, just being like, hey, I'll do anything for you, I'll treat you like a princess, whatever, just talk to me, it makes them seem less desirable, less attractive. You're like, why are you so desperate? Oh, not desperate, but like, why are you trying so hard? You must be desperate, or I don't know. It's just, it really devalues that person. On the other hand, when when there's a guy who's a little bit more distant, you're like, is he? I don't know. Like, we've definitely got chemistry. Like, we've got a connection. I'm pretty sure this guy likes me, but he's not always available for me. He's it kind of hooks the woman. It makes her want more. So I'm not sure if you guys have experienced that in your own lives. Sometimes it happens when you're legitimately just not interested in the woman, and then it makes her want you more, and she starts like chasing you. So you've kind of got to use some of that mentality to your advantage as well. And I think that if you are able to do a bit of that early on in the relationship, it can kind of set a good precedent for her to be hooked and to kind of feel that way moving forward. Again, if you are able to do what the first 2 points, where you're drawing the women's attention in whatever given environment, and getting her interested and picking up on those signals, and then approaching her with confidence, and actually not just being a beggar, you're going into interview mode, or showing her that you have standards with the kind of questions you're asking, then she's like, oh, who's this guy? He must be really spoiled for choice with high quality women if he's not just putting me on a pedestal. Then you're really hooking her at that stage.
Thanks, Tess. If you can just help them understand, for a girl with options, what's it like when guys, particularly if they're tall, handsome, desirable, come up to you and they're clearly in beggar mode. Whatever you're into, whatever you want to do, however they can get another 5 minutes or 10 minutes or your number, they'll do it. How does that make you feel compared to a guy who's like finding out if there's much in common, if he wants to continue talking to you?
Yeah, it's, as I said, to me, it's just quite pathetic. It's pathetic. So it's like annoying almost. It's definitely not attractive. It's not alluring in a sexual sense either. Yeah, it's just pathetic. It makes me feel like it would be a guy who's just really weak, and yeah, who wouldn't challenge me. It would just become a really boring relationship if that were to progress. Again, it's I've been in that situation before where guys, I'm like, what is it about this guy? He's ticking all of these boxes and on paper seems like a great guy, but because he's been, yeah, beggar mode, maybe not to the extent of like complete beggar, but just, just been like pining after me. For some reason, I'm like, I just don't like this. I'm not attracted to that at all. So yeah, it's happened so many times to me.
That's brilliant, Tess. Thanks for really, I want you to go deep on that. So, so what you got to do is define what you actually want in a woman. And we get guys to our boot camp. We should probably do this as an exercise pre to the boot camp. I think that'd be really valuable. We might actually talk about that later, sort of at the end. Because on the last boot camp, we had 3 uber desirable guys, like one of the hottest late 40s guys you could ever imagine, who made quite a bit of money. It was an amazing dude with all these masculine hobbies and super bright. We had the early stage employee of a huge company, and we had like a celebrity psychiatrist who literally flew from LA. And these guys, they just didn't have any standards. She's above a 7.5, 8 out of 10. And she talks to me, okay, let's go through with this. I'm like, these guys are much higher status than me, but they're just not fussy at all. No standards whatsoever. So you want to figure out what your dream partner looks like. I sound like some wanky relationship coach, but it's important, because the best relationship coach is getting a girl where there's a great chance it's going to work from the start, not just some hot girl who fell on your dick somewhere because she's friends with your brother, or you met her through work, or whatever, the tennis club, or whatever you do. So you want to define your dream partner, particularly their hobbies and interests, and then search for them. I've told you guys many times, it always starts with books, travel second, and then, geopolitics, yoga, meditation. And the fact that I'm only really want to talk to girls who talk about this shit is a huge part of whatever success I've had. Just to round this point out, so what I'd literally do is, I sort of demonstrated before, I just literally walk up to a girl and I'll do the little small chat, like what we talk about if you ever watch us coach, the conversation structure we go through. Ask about it later and we can go into more details. And then once I've done that, as soon as I'm like, okay, am I going to talk to this girl any longer? I'm like, oh, so tell me the last great book you read. And I approach girls on bookstore at bars. I'm like, most of them are just idiots. I don't want to do this. So I just approach girls, go, hey, how you doing? I'm James. What's your name? They're like, go away, old loser, big-nosed, grey-beard dude. I go, oh, so they don't say that. That's the vibe. Go, oh, so tell me the last good book you read. They're like, what? What do you ask me about books for? And then some of them are just the average barroom shazzers. Hey, I don't read. What do you read for on your Instagram, you silly old fool? So yeah, if it's one of them, I just sort of let her pass or introduce her to a student if she's hot. But occasionally I get the name of a book and I use that as a hook to talk to them later, sometimes at a time. And I've had a wee bit of sex out of that. More than a wee bit, actually, over all the years I've been doing it. Okie dokie. So next up, one of my favorite Aussie clients ever James taught me to hunt me own meat. Yeah, he's worth 10 million. His mum's a model. He's like could be a model if he wanted. He's like a serious cage fighting aficionado, competes. And yeah, the ladies just throw themselves at him, Clients of mine who, compete in jiu-jitsu, some have even hopped in a cage fight. They said, that's the most masculine Aussie guy I met. And as we talk about, height is very important. sorry for shorter guys, I'm just telling you the truth. Handsome, rich, not really that important at all, but height is important. But testosterone would arguably beat height. I'll see what Tess thinks about that. So the reason so many of you higher value guys or decent looking guys or high income guys, or even if you just own a decent house in America or Australia, it's worth a bit. The reason you guys are having all these toxic relationships is because you're getting the girls that come to you. Don't settle. Don't wait what comes for you, because you want to be, oh, here we go, I should trademark this. You want to be a predator, not in the Harvey Weinstein sense. Don't cancel me for this. You want to be a predator. You want to be the one hunting women. You don't want to be the prey of women, particularly if you've got a wee bit of cash in the bank and stocks and crypto and property and a business or something, or a decent profession that can pay you a fair bit of money. You want to become a predator. You want to be a hunter. You don't want to be the hunted. What's better, Tess? Predator, not prey, or hunter, not hunted? Predator doesn't have the Harvey Weinstein vibes. So
I think hunter, not hunted is better.
Hunter, yeah. Okay. I could get cancelled if I say the predator. Okay, forget be the predator, not the prey. Be the hunter, not the hunted. And you guys with a bit of cash, let alone a lot of cash, are hunted. You are hunted by women who want an easy life. Because if they get a ring on their finger, or they live with you for 2 years, or you know, you have a drink or something. Oh, I didn't want to do it. I said no, and he persisted. And she's down the police station like 7 years later. You don't know what the hell she's talking about, but she texted her mum or a girlfriend about it. You'll be being a victim of some people in prison, which might not be a hell of a lot of fun if you're a straight gentleman like me. So yeah, stop leading with your wallet. This is one of the dumbest things so many guys do. I mean, even stop leading with your accomplishments, which I must admit, when I'm not particularly promiscuous and I haven't been around a bunch of hot women, I fall back into that habit myself. The biggest thing of all is stop settling for easy women. Stop settling for easy women. In 2026, with the family courts and the gender politics situation and the media woke situation, it's a recipe for wanting to kill yourself. Either any of those things, the police station, the family courts, kicked out of your career for settling for the wrong women. I can tell you a bunch of stories about that. So before I do it, Tess, tell me about a man who hunts his own meat and how much less likely you'd be to take advantage of him, or how much more attracted you'd be, or the fact that you'd probably sense he's had girls maybe as attractive, maybe even more attractive than you before. Tell me what that does to a woman.
Yeah, so I mean, guys who go out there and they're decisive about who they want to be with, hunting their own meat, let's say. Yeah, these are guys who are confident. They know what they want. They know who they are. They don't take shit from from anyone. You know, they stand their ground. That is hugely attractive to women. You know, a lot of the guys who don't hunt their own meat and kind of take the easy road, but you know, a lot of the time a more toxic road, are nice guys, which is so yeah, it's devastating really for us women, because so many of the nice guys just stick it out with some woman who's just taking advantage of them, who, you know, she picks up them and figured out that this guy's a nice guy, and you know, as much women are manipulative, so we take advantage of that. You know, even when we're not trying to, you know, not necessarily in a malicious way, but we do. You know, we can see, we know what the boundaries are in any relationship, and we test that early on. And so if you're a nice guy, the woman will take advantage of that, and down the line, also it can create problems because she just starts to get really bored, to be honest. Yeah, and so it becomes hugely unattractive as well sexually down the line if, you know, you're having arguments or you know, conversations and the guy's constantly backing down, not standing his ground, just being weak and pathetic. It's yeah, women just absolutely disdain that. So yeah, as opposed to a man who just sets the boundaries and in a healthy way, it actually creates a better dynamic in the relationship because the woman respects the man. That's super important. You need to both respect each other, but you need to work for that respect because women, as I said, if you're too weak, you're too nice, you're that nice guy, she'll walk all over you.
Thanks, Tess. Possibly the most important thing I've ever said in my 20 years in September or something as a dating coach is women don't respect men who can't easily go out and get other women on or above their caliber. And that so many of the, this horror divorce, or she treated you like crap, or she took advantage of you. So many of these stories are guys who don't hunt their own meat. They settle for whatever they can get. And if you've got some cash, you've got predators coming after you. I mean, woman predators, not Harvey Weinstein type. It's just a complete recipe for complete disaster. I mean, so many of the great works of literature are about guys like that. So the other thing that happens, it sounds egotistical, but I've never been dumped in my life since I lost my virginity. First girl, she didn't want to see me anymore. After that, no one's ever broken up with me in my entire life, like never. And I don't know exactly why, and I've had so many women way out of my league. I don't know exactly why that is, but the fact that I am so easily able to go out and replace them, and they all know that. They all know that completely. A lot of them get shitty because I sort of replace them on Monday and Tuesday, then come back on Wednesday or something. It just gives you this superpower, and relationships with women become, they support you, they suck up to you, they do things for you, they compete for you. I've had girls who worked in finance. Every time I dated them, because I knew I was seeing other girls, they'd buy me a sweater, or they'd buy me a book, or they'd take me to this expensive restaurant. I'm like, what the hell? This is like it completely swapped the roles, because you become the prize, not the wallet, not the prey. If you've been coming to these, you haven't got this shit through your thick head yet. Women are minimum 5, possibly 10, in many cases 20 times smarter at reading signals, understanding social cues, manipulation, getting what they want in group situations, controlling what's going on. They're like 10 or 20 times smarter than you, particularly if you're quite an analytical guy. And especially so if you haven't had long relationships with hot girls. So just to round this point out, my favorite client, I didn't really get into him. Yeah, he's had so many Amber Heard on steroid stories, it's not funny. I've told this before. This girl who he broke up with, I think he called the police on because he'd get the police around to throw her out of his house. She was that bad. She'd run up to his door, and with high heels on, she'd run up and she'd smash his, whatever it was, mahogany front door. I don't know what sort of wood it was, his expensive front door. And she'd leave these high heel marks in it. Anyway, she saw on social media he was off in, I think it was in Thailand doing some sort of Muay Thai course. So she comes around, uses a key, didn't know she had, and takes the dog to vet and gets it put down. No bullshit. And he had a bunch of, can you imagine the heartbreak? His favorite thing in the world was his Staffy Cross pit bull. She got it put down. Another guy who was an internal medicine doctor, he was dating an internal medicine nurse. Or at least she was a nurse. She might have been internal medicine. He's this sort of, okay looking, slightly beta Asian guy, really, really smart dude, specialist doctor. And I couldn't realize why he was so feeble with women. And it turned out he had these lumps in his head. They're like the size of golf balls. One of them was like the size of a baseball or a cricket ball. And can you guess how that happened? He's holding his child, her child, and she's got this gigantic vase and she's bashing him with it. And you had to go to the hospital and go, can you stop me bleeding to death? Another guy, this is motivation for you. Hunt your own meat, hunt your own meat, hunt your own meat, or this could be you, especially if you've got money. Another guy, sort of, not that tall, like 6 foot tall, really handsome dude on the Gold Coast. He was a physio. He was very successful as a physio, and he got into other businesses, very successful in that. You could feel, even though he dressed terribly and he did weird stuff, my female coaches were attracted to him straight away. He literally had a girl, he admitted, as soon as he had kids with her, it was like the worst thing he ever did, apart from he loved his kid. She kidnapped his kid and took it to Japan. And he was convinced he'd never, ever, ever see his kid again because there's no extradition treaty. There's no way to find her. It scared the crap out of me with the potential Russian woman I might end up with. And yeah, a friend of a friend tipped him off that she'd posted something on social media, and there was a suspicion she could be going to his wedding in Fiji. So he basically spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on PIs and bribing people, and I can't even remember what else, photographers, to track her down, then somehow kidnap his own kid and get it on a plane. And then now he's got to share custody of the kid in the Gold Coast because of Australia's wonderful family law system. So yeah, hunt your own meat. Hunt your own meat. I could tell you a dozen other stories like that from my 19 years of dating coach. Not to mention all my friends who live in Bondi. I mean, yeah, sleeps with a girl once and he's at the police department for being a rapist when she picked him up. So yeah, hunt your own meat or this is your fate. You learn to suck a dick or use porn or prostitutes or whatever the hell. Because it's not a nice world for men who don't hunt their own meat. That was a bit of a rant, wasn't it, Tess? At least no one left. Hunt your own meat. Tess, did you want to add anything to my rant? You didn't really have claim. I don't think she's got really toxic girlfriends like some of my other female coaches, who shall remain nameless, who are still very good coaches. Do you have any anecdotes of women really sort of driving a piece of pipe with a piece of barbed wire in it up a guy's backside, and then I shouldn't probably say that. That's what they do to pedophiles in jail. Anyway, do you have any stories of women treating men appallingly because they didn't hunt their own meat?
Not any. No, not any women I'd call friends. No. But I do understand. You know, in my own personal relationships, when guys have been, just pathetic. Again, pathetic. It really frustrates me. Because sometimes women, when they sort of, this is getting a little bit more advanced, but you know, if we argue or present a different opinion or whatever, and the guy just backs down immediately and doesn't stand his ground a little bit, and constantly does that, it becomes frustrating. So like, is this guy just saying? Is he just saying yes to get rid of me? Like he doesn't actually want to engage with what I'm talking about. So it's kind of the same thing. It kind of relates, I think. So I've experienced that in some relationships where, yeah, the guy's just he's not being the leader. He's not taking charge of a situation. He's just being passive, and that frustrates me a lot. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I can tell you with Russian girls, you can get a really good moral Russian girl who's a good person. And if a man's pathetic, they think it's fine to just take advantage of him and use him. A lot of hot girls like this. But it's like, oh, why didn't his mother and father teach him how to be confident with women? How is man so pathetic? And quite a few of the girls I've dated, including the models, think if a guy is pathetic, then he deserves to be weeded out the gene pool and I'm allowed to take advantage of him. Anyone who's dated hot girls knows they've got a guy who fixes their computer, they've got a guy who fixes their car, the guy who does their taxes, they've got a guy they talk to when they've been dumped by some alpha male and they're all heartbroken and he buys all the food for them and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I've been living in a model's house, and yeah, and I'm completely useless at everything apart from talking, and that's about it really. I can't really do anything else. Public speaking I'm pretty good at. But yeah, something's broken in her apartment, so this guy's around to fix that. Or, her car's broken, so this guy comes around to her house to fix that. She's got all these little guys on strings doing shit for her. Like one of them was even a male model. It's like she needed something, so she knew I was useless and I was too lazy to do it. So she called her male model friend to fix whatever the hell was broken, the air conditioner or the heater or something. Can you help out? The guy I'm banging is completely useless and he's lazy, but he bangs me really well. And I'm pretty sure he can get girls as hot as me. So I'm just going to put up with him being completely useless. She said it was the most unattractive thing ever that I couldn't even change a tire. I'm not suggesting you guys should do this as some sort of a strategy, but yeah, there's been more than one or two girls, probably not 5, who've actually changed the tire for me. Because I'm like, that's a skill I outsource. I've never learned that. So that's why they invented the RAC or roadside assistance. I'm a finance guy, so we like to just keep our lives to things that we're good at. Anything we can pay to outsource, we like to do it. So anyway, several girls have changed tires on me, but they kept dating me and never dumped me, which is, now I'm thinking about this, that's really freaking pathetic, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, let's move on. I'm not lying about this either. I kind of wish I was, but it's true. Okay. As I've said, Tess is not feeling the best. We're not doing Scorsese movies. And I'm using hotel Wi-Fi that almost made me sick. It sent my sleep tracker going nuts, saying, your biometrics show signs your body's under extreme stress. What's wrong with you? It's the fact I'm sitting a meter from the hotel Wi-Fi that's freaking my brain out. If anyone's a bit interested in health, my normal resting heart rate when I'm sitting at an office working is probably about 58, 59, maybe 62 sometimes, depending how hot it is, because I never use air conditioning. It was 75 a short time ago. So give us your questions now. Give us your questions now, because this is going to seriously affect my sleep. I don't want to be unprofessional and move somewhere else, which I might have to do, because this is weird. It's like someone's got electricity drilling into my head. Okie dokie. So have we done hack female psychology? So yeah, hammer us with your questions. Did we have one already?
We've got a couple of people saying hello. We did have one question here. Stavros says, is only rich guy dating able to girls, or guys who are not rich can date girls? I think you're asking, are only rich guys able to get girls and not guys who are rich? No, no, that couldn't be further from the truth. Rich guys attract a certain type of woman if they display their wealth, but they're probably not the kind of women you'd be interested in. It's really, really not about that for quality women at all. So yeah, it's much more about what we're talking about tonight. If you guys have any questions about the content tonight, any of the points we've been through, or just any questions in general, flick them through, because we're here to help you with your dating lives. So let's move on to the next point.
Can I handle this one, Tess? I love this question. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Is it only rich guys who are able to date girls? No. Rich guys have spent their life being rich in most cases. Most of them are clueless with women, clueless, useless, hopeless. And what they do is they attract user girls. You might see a rich guy with a hot girl. She's absolutely tearing him to pieces, whether it's after 6 months or 2 months or a year or 3 years. As soon as she gets her claws in, she's sucking the life out of him. I'm an expert at this because I've coached hundreds and hundreds of seriously wealthy guys, including billionaires. Most of them are miserable as all F with women. So rich guys suck with women. So often they suck. The guys who are able to date lots of girls and have lots of sex and have lots of fun, they're usually poor guys. They work in bars, they work in hostels, they play cover tunes, they deal narcotics, they're yoga teachers, or they're personal trainers, or they're just losers on unemployment benefits who spend their whole time chasing girls and succeeding, learning enough skill to get the girls to chase them. Rich guys suck with women. If you see a rich guy with a hot woman, you should have sympathy for this guy. He's probably going through hell. If he's not now, he soon will be. Now, there are exceptions. There's some hot girls who aren't wildly insecure. I think we've got one of the unicorns in front of us by the name of Tess, who I've made my head coach. But yeah, generally hot guys suck with women. They might have had some women, but they've had users. They've had toxic girls who've hurt them badly. So if you want to get better with women, you've got to learn a skill. Rich guys have learnt the skill of getting very good at a profession or a business and making money. Guys who are good with women learn the skill of getting good with women. My funny way to explain it is guys in, I think it's funny, you might not, guys in America and Australia and England and Holland and Sweden and Germany and all these other countries, much of Western Europe these days, we think, oh, if I want to get better with women, I need to get an engineering degree or a medical degree or a commerce degree and go get an MBA, a Master of Business Administration. Whereas my Brazilian friends and many of my African American friends, they don't bother with that. They get, some of them bother with that as well, but they start off when they're 13, they get around guys who know what they're doing, and they get a Master of Pussy Administration. So they're really good with girls from the time they're 14, and they don't think they need a BMW or a Lamborghini or something to do that. They learn the skills of approaching and conversation and female psychology and sex. And they get good with women by being good with women, not by being good in the boardroom or good at sales or good at engineering or good at coding or good at medicine. And we think we're the smart ones. The Asian guys and the white guys are the stupid ones. That's why I coach lots of Asian guys and white guys, but not so many of the other race. Occasionally we get some Latina guy who went and studied engineering and fell for all this white man bullshit. But generally you're all white and European or Asian. So that's nearly all of our clients. Even in America, not many of the Latinos and the African Americans. It's mainly us silly white men and Asian men. Sorry if I'm being racist against stupid Asian men and white men, but we are stupid, we are foolish, and we are being brainwashed. They put this carrot in front of us of hot girlfriend, pussy, big boobs, young, licious lips, and thick hair. And we think, oh, if I just get another degree and work an extra 5 hours a week, she can be mine soon. No. Touch, eye contact, body language, conversation skills. Anyway, I'll let this rant end. Great question, Stavros. Being rich is a severe disadvantage to being good with women in most cases. Now, I know there'll be some guy with a killer Instagram who's running through hot girls like nobody's business. But yeah, most of the guys with serious money who've worked hard to get that money, it's been bad for them. And a lot of them in 2026 are too scared to ever go near a woman because they've got these assets and they're potentially going to have a visit to the police station, potentially a visit to local prison. A lot of these guys in 2026 are just checked out altogether. No, not doing this anymore. The upside of having a girlfriend and the downside of having a girlfriend, it's not a trade-off I want to go for. So yeah, and it's been good for seeking arrangement business. And even seeking arrangement, you're still running risks of MeToo claims there, but at least it started off as like a professional sex for money relationship. That's what a lot of really rich, desirable guys think these days, which I think is profoundly sad. And a lot of them a lot of rich guys, seriously, no bullshit. I've worked in finance. I've lived in east and south of Sydney. I've lived in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and I've lived in New York and a bunch of other places. I've coached a lot of rich guys. A lot of them end up marrying ex-hookers, or they end up marrying the seeking arrangement girls. That's just what they do because they don't have time to go meet a decent girl. Rant over. Anything you want to add to that, Tess? So, Tess, no, I'll even cover some more things. We need to put a little banner up saying, do rich guys get all the girls? Tess and some other girls I met who are very hot and in Tess's case really accomplished as well, she actually, in terms of a long-term relationship, she doesn't want some hedge fund guy or cosmetic surgeon with a huge clinic or something, because I don't know, tell me why. You think they're clueless, or what's the reason?
A guy who's too career focused is not going to be focused on me or the relationship or, down the line, potentially family or kids. So that's a little bit of a red flag. Also, it's just the person who I am. If a guy too highly values money and superficial things, it just doesn't really compute with me, because that's not really what I value as highly in life. I like, relationships are the most important thing to me, but experiences and learning and mainly relationships that's what's important to me. I have a lot of like hobbies and interests as well, but it's not really centric to money. So a lot of women are similar to me as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of rich guys with a business. I mean, this is one of the worst. I mean, unfortunately, Andrew Tate, who probably, I'm not saying you should follow him. You should follow him because he's really funny. His dating advice is probably good if you want that sort of plastic surgery, plastic hot porn star, whatever you call it, look. He's probably got who just chase money and are always armed with the Louis Vuitton or the Chanel handbag. If you want those sorts of girls and you've got money, he's probably not too bad a dating coach. But even he thinks average guys or barmen or personal trainers or yoga teachers are all very, very low paid compared to many of my clients. He thinks they can't get girls. I'm like, dude, I don't know what drugs you're smoking, but yeah, they get all the girls, the yoga teachers, man. The guys who drive tour buses around Europe and stuff. I mean, they're running through them like rock stars. So yeah, being rich is a disadvantage to finding happiness with women. And it's a disadvantage to ever developing the skills to find happiness to women. And there's lots of Tess's. I have this debate with some of my best friends, like, Tess is just telling you what you want to hear. She's just lying to you. She's going to whatever. She's always going to go after a hot girl. And these are smart dudes. They've been so brainwashed by society to think, oh, you get the money and you got the carrot of the hot girl, and all the hot girls only want the guy who's got all the money, which is just so untrue, so untrue. A lot of them, like I don't want to name on this subject, but if you look at my female coaches, a lot of them have done that once or twice in their early 20s. They just realize it doesn't work. And a lot of them ended up in their 30s with guys who are often the polar opposite of the rich guy that they might have, the rich high, like they call it like the Instagram girls who date through Instagram, which is a huge mistake, ladies. Don't do that. You're just an object to the man. Being a female dating coach here for a while. As in, I coach women, not I'm going to go trans and then become a dating coach for men. Not that sort of dating coach. A female dating coach, and I coach women. Hopefully that didn't offend anyone watching. I mean nothing about that. My favorite Apple Store employee in Sydney might have gone down that track too. He helped me massively. He saved me from a disaster. I got carried away there, wanting to be not too unpolitically correct. So yeah, a lot of the female coaches, they'll try the high status guys in their 20s and they realize it just doesn't work. One of the most important women of my life, she did that. She, some of the biggest celebrities on the planet and finance guys, and she went down that route. Then after she realized she wasn't valued, or he much preferred his career or his cocaine in some cases to his woman, then she just elastic banded the other way. And she just, after me, not that I was rich, but whatever, I was pretty sure of myself. After me, she's lucky banded to this absolutely pathetic beta male, not even that good looking music teacher. She loves music. She's a very talented musician. So there was probably a really good connection there. But she ends up getting engaged to him. And I'm just like, I heard about the guy and she told me about him because we somehow remained friends after she hated me and threw red-soled shoes at me in an argument. But yeah, just like, how the hell are you going to do this? You go from some of the most famous people on earth, famous athletes on the earth, to this guy. And anyway, it broke up and she went back to the higher status, in this case, a very famous musician. Then she went back and she zigzagged back and forward. So yeah, women, they end up, and then she ended up with a guy who's a construction worker. from the most famous people in the world, rock stars, celebrity chefs, most famous athlete in the world. She ends up with a guy who's a construction worker. So yeah, this rich guy thing, yeah, it gives you access to a lot of girls in your early years if you use it correctly. But most guys just don't have the time or the knowledge to do it. Go work in a bar or something. Anyway, this rant's gone on long enough, especially given it wasn't one of our points tonight. Hopefully there's a lot of value there for many of you. Okay, I've lost my banners. So we're up to, where are we in Bannerland?
We are
Hunt your own meat. Hack female psychology.
Number 5.
Okay. Yeah, you got to do what the ladies want. You got to do what ladies want. You got to understand female psychology. Step one really is to learn the skills. If you decide to work with us, do some Zoom dates with Tess and Natalia and Val and Coda. Get the skills. You've got to hack your style. If you're an American or Australian and even Western Europeans these days, most of you don't know how to dress to attract women. Just most of you don't know how to dress to attract women. And if you follow most stylists or the media, you do exactly the wrong thing. You do exactly the wrong thing. We coach quite a few really hunky, ripped athletic guys. And when they wear these sort of figure-hugging T-shirts, the woman immediately goes insecure, obsessed with his body, probably crap in bed, doesn't understand women. Like, I'll speak for Jackie, but Val's the same way. If obviously they want an athletic guy, but if he's in some sort of tight figure-hugging T-shirt, she's just like, you're either like a female slut, and I'm not interested in you post 22, or you've got no clue about women and you think you've got to build this attraction that way. So Jackie dated like a very famous Australian football player. And one of the things that attracted to her, she obviously got a magnificent body. One of the things that really attracted is on their first date, he just wore this sort of baggy non-figure hugging T-shirt and these long shorts and trainers, and he just wears this. He just dressed like nothing. So he wasn't showing off this Adonis body. You might say, yeah, but he's a star football player. Yeah, but it's the same if the guy was, a plumber or something. This is where you guys don't understand female psychology. But for a skinny little twat like me, I can wear the tight thing without turning girls off. So there's so much about female psychology you guys just don't have a clue about. Not a clue. Most of you, if you do try to dress to impress women, you try too hard. Like, one of the dumbest things so many of my clients do, and I used to do, is, oh, yeah, I really like the girl. I'm going to iron a shirt, and I'm going to wear leather shoes and nice jeans, and I'll put on my aftershave, and I'll even wash my car for the first time since the Clinton presidency, because this girl could be special. I'll try so hard to impress her, and then the girl gets on the date and goes, this guy is crazy about me. He's trying so hard. I just rocked up because I didn't really have anything else to do today. And if she sleeps with you, you're gonna wait like 25 dates and have no power. It's all about psychology. You've got to hack female psychology. You've got to know how to dress. You've got to know how to walk. You've got to know how to talk to other people. You've got to groom properly. If you're an old MF and you got hairs coming out your nose, you're going to fix that up. Otherwise, no one wants you. Or hairs coming out your ears. I've got a wee one there that's going to be an issue soon. You have to start waxing. Whatever, just get your little trimmer on your ears. You've got to get this shit right, particularly style, because women look at you and they decide whether you're a surgeon or you're a hedge fund manager simply by the clothes you're wearing. Tess, talk about how men have to hack female psychology. This is your number one.
Yeah. So, guys, it's really, if you understand female psychology, that affects everything you do. And in conversation, which is a big one, and a big strength in what I teach, when you understand why you're doing certain things, why that's attractive to a woman, why that actually helps to build connection, etc., then everything makes sense, and it becomes easy to integrate that in what you're doing, in your approach, rather than just going through the motions and wondering why is this working? Oh, does it work? I'm not sure. But once you have that understanding of female psychology, it all makes sense. So female psychology is complex, but you know, generally speaking, what women are looking for, as we've said today, they're looking for men with, and I also hate using this term, but more of those alpha male type qualities. But what that means is leadership. It means commanding a space. It means masculinity, confidence. All of these things are kind of the basis for that. That's what, generally speaking, all women are attracted to, and this is on a deeper psychological level. What it really comes down to is we want the man who is going to be able to defend us if, I don't know, if we get attacked or shit hits the fan, or he can stay grounded and command a situation if things aren't going well. You know, we want that rock, that solid person who can get through those things, who's not just going to be pathetic and you know make all the decisions, etc. So yeah, this is really, really important with regard to female psychology. James was talking about style as well. Again, the biggest thing that I want to emphasize is you've probably just got to do less. Like, when you're trying too hard, it is so obvious, and that is a huge turn off to women, because again, it shows actually lack of confidence when you're trying too hard to impress or forcing something. You know, if you're really, really comfortable in your own skin, and like the example that James used with Jackie, you know, this guy who is just not trying at all, really, that's really enticing to her. You know, to beautiful women, when you've got a guy who's so confident and comfortable in his own skin that he's like, yeah, I don't have to do anything, you know, I don't have to push anything. I can just be really relaxed and casual and, you know, let you come to me. That is hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. And Tess is the smartest thing. She's a smart girl and she's a great dating coach. The smartest thing she's ever said. When I say, oh, you got to ask open-ended questions, and Tess said, no, you're wrong, big nose old man. You got to understand female psychology. And Tess, one of the things, the process of going on dates with Tess over Zoom, you'll hack female psychology. So I'm going to give you guys a perler of an example. I've so often met a girl in day game, as pickup artists say, and had sex with her that day. I've had a girl out of her panties, naked apart from panties, back at my place within like 30 minutes. That's another story for another time. Like, so often. And like, when I traveled, I hardly ever went on a second date. And the third date was like, I think I had one, and that was a surgeon who was just far too busy to see. I had to go on 3 dates. There might have been one more, but not many. The reason is because I was very good at female psychology. So what would happen, a story, this model, like proper Europe Fashion Week model, came to my house, and she arrives at the door. She was so nervous. She had these beautiful earrings on. Her makeup was like she just got off a photo shoot. She wasn't a large-breasted woman, but, you know, I don't know what she was, large A, small B, probably small B. And you could see she just got the perfect push-up bra. It wasn't like she's obviously wearing a push-up bra. I had some cleavage there. It wasn't like she was obviously wearing a push-up bra, but she was just pushing everything she had as much as she could without going too far. And just everything, the necklace and the way she was dressed. And I could tell, I told her that we're probably going to go for a walk along the beach. So she wore the sexiest shoes she possibly could, that where she could just go for a walk along the boardwalk. So I told, this girl spent days and days and days thinking about this date. So what do you think I do? This baby's closing tonight. She's not leaving here. I've got all the power. Now, how many of you guys have this ability? And you say, oh, I'm too old, I'm too tall, you just want my money. You just want me to coach me. How many of you guys can study a woman and study a situation, understand this? Tess and Natalia and Val and Jackie will give this to you. That's why our clients get the most absurd results possible. So there's some pictures of girls like, how the hell did you get her? I've been on sort of double dates where we meet my client's girlfriend. I'm like, freaking beating me, you prick. Yours is hotter than mine, and I'm supposed to be the master, and mine wasn't too shabby. So yeah, it's just when you have this ability that I don't know anyone else on YouTube teaching. If you do, please send them to me. I'd like to sort of reach out to them and maybe do YouTube lives together. Yeah, it would be really good. Anyway, we'll get on to questions. Before we get to questions, if you do want to hack female psychology at a level you can't even fathom, this is your woman in front of us, the beautiful supermodel smile catwalk model Tess. Okay, so she is the boss of all these pretty girls, swimsuit models and lingerie models and whatever else. And this can be I think she's available tomorrow. I don't know exactly. So that's what your tomorrow will look like. And please subscribe to YouTube. So yeah, and what happens is you get to go on a date with Tess, if I can actually learn how to use these slides. And what happens is you'll practice approaching her, you'll go on a date with her, whatever you're doing now, we just want to polish it up and perfect it and get rid of all the nonsense. So you'll practice dating and you'll eliminate the mistakes you're making. You're going to the structure she gives you, you're going to destroy maybe 95% of guys when it comes to going on a date and approaching just from this 45 minutes. You're going to get so much better at not running out of things to say. And most importantly of all, you leave with a custom written dating plan of exactly what you need, what you're doing quite well, you need to sort of polish up, what you need to actually do to improve, what you need to eliminate, which is the most valuable thing of all. And then that's expressed to you as a plan. If all you do is a half-assed job of number one, let alone the top three, your life in 2026 will look profoundly different. And I've heard that said so many times. And yeah, you'll walk away knowing how to get dates all the time. Will you beat every single guy? Probably not. But you'll beat 95% of Americans, 95% of Australians, maybe 96% of Germans. Yeah, Germans versus Australians, that's a Pepsi challenge there. Probably like 75% of Brazilians. So yeah, maybe not even that much because they're pretty good. So yeah, so that's going to be what your day looks like tomorrow. I should get my tech right and put Tess's photo there. And yeah, we charge $1,500 on our website for this, and you can do it tomorrow for $29. So what happens is you'll click the link below, which hopefully Tess has got, and we'll have a quick chat. I'll make sure you're not some weirdo stalker who's going to freak my best coach out. And then, yeah, we'll book you straight in for a session. You can book in for the session now, but we won't charge you tonight. It'll just be after I talk to you, last for a credit card. And you'll get $1,500 worth of value for $29, which I think is rather splendid. And yes, that's all you need to know. So it's not $1. For you guys watching the replay, if I'm not a dill, there should be a link in the chat. And yeah, look forward to changing your life. And yeah, I can't overstate how good Tess is at this. You'd expect me to say that, but it's true. Okay, any questions, just let us know, and we'll get into some of the questions. Again, reiterating, Tess isn't feeling the best. I'm feeling terrible. I'm almost feeling like I could vomit, and my head's like freaking out. This is going to hurt me tomorrow. So I've got to get away from this. So hammer us with the questions soon. Okay, greetings from one of our beloved regulars, Ralph. Thank you so much for that. I'm not looking at him. Are you able to give advice on places other than social coach that may give feedback on body language, inflections, etc.? I don't know. I'm not saying there's no one good on YouTube. There probably are, but tend to be the bigger ones. Probably aren't the best. So I don't know that off the top of my head. It's too advanced. There's a TV series, Lie to Me, which isn't a very good TV series. But apart from the lead actor, who's awesome, which I watched that, but I sort of watched a lot of it at sort of 1.5 speed, so I got really bored. Yeah, I mean, just search body language and see what you come up with. Yeah, I just don't agree with what a lot of people say, because I've been an extremely high-paid salesman and a public speaker, and then trying to sort my own profound problems with women out, and then trying to help thousands of guys do it. So I kind of think we've got it mastered. Well, I shouldn't say mastered, but closer than anyone I'm aware of. There could be someone I'm aware of. And yet the problem with a lot of the women is some of them will give a lot of really good advice, but then they'll give really bad advice that you need to sort of figure it. You need to have enough knowledge to figure out what's the good and what's the bad. Like whenever I search health advice, which I do know quite a bit about, so much of it's just garbage. But then someone who gives garbage health advice will also give some good health advice. So without the perspective to understand, it can be quite dangerous. So in the places, I don't know, you can find some body language teacher which can be helpful, but you've got, if you're on this live and you're not looking soft skills for business, we do teach that by default. Then you want to have someone who applies body language to dating, and body language is quite complicated. That's why I think the way we teach it is genius, if I don't say so myself, simply because you learn it through drills. Because one of the big mistakes with body language is Tess has got her arms folded, so she's got no interest in me. No, it might be cold. She might be wearing a sexy top. Or Tess's foot's pointing over there. She's not interested in me. No, she might really need to go to the toilet. Or her best friend might have just walked in. Her best friend might be being stalked by a Harvey Weinstein guy. So she might really like me, but she's not focusing on me right now because she's got something else to do. So you've got to have it in context. Oh, I get the questions about the Russian girl. No, the Russian men. Have not dated too many Russian men, but yes, have been friends with some. Most masculine of all white men on planet. Maybe Serbian guys have fight over that. James, you say Russian men. I was talking to a Russian guy the other day, a guy, not a girl. I've got to get my... James, you say Russian men are way better with women, but I hear Russian women hate Russian men because they are alcoholics on vodka. Very true. They are alcoholics on vodka, and somehow alcoholics on vodka, they managed to actually murder 50,000 Russian women a year out of 160 million population. Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of Russian women do not want Russian men simply because of the domestic violence, because it's so much a part of their culture. If any of you actually read books, I might attract one or two of you. If you read Chekhov plays, you can read some of the most outrageous stuff about violence against women you can ever imagine. It's like almost nauseating. So yeah, there's a big opportunity in the fact that Russian men, even some of the educated ones, can be very violent. I mean, pre-vodka, they can be very, very violent. And it's so much a part of their culture. I'm not having any sympathy for guys who hit women, but they went through some very, very tough times between the Bolshevik Revolution, the kicking out the Tsars, then Stalin, who competes with Mao as the worst of the century, and then Lenin wasn't a walk in the park, and whoever else came after that, plus the gulags. I haven't read Gulag Archipelago, but it's on my to-do list. So yeah, a lot of Russian women do not want Russian men. Actually, I probably can't say it, but for any of my clients who want to know, I've just realized another reason why Russian women are so cunning and so sneaky and so much better than any other race at controlling and manipulating men. That's why I do very good with the Western girls, because I train on the Russian girl, and Western girl very, very simple, straightforward compared to Russian girl. Russian girl have all the tricks, super tricks, ninja tricks compared to the humble Australian American girls. Anyway, I'll stop doing accents before you guys tune out. So yeah, there is a huge opportunity in very violent Russian men. Not all of them. I mean, they're not all wife beaters, but some of them are pretty bad. Read the great playwright Chekhov, who many say competes with Shakespeare. Seagull, Uncle Vanya. I've read a few of them. Oh, I love this question. Are there any boot camps being scheduled? I was meant to send out, we're doing a discount for last minute spots because a few people emailed me and said they're going to have problems with that weekend. And one guy is having trouble paying. So yes, there are. Yes, they're going to be at a good discount. You beat the email that was meant to go out today. I was about to send a text message and I forgot to add stop and opt out. So I had to get up at 3 a.m. and figure out with where's my little glasses to stop the blue light. I had to figure out how to use my computer, which I'm not very good at anyway. I'll show you my stupid glasses soon while I'm at 3:30 in the morning. So yes, it's a great time to do a boot camp because they're a wee bit cheaper than they were last time we did this. So yeah, there should be a link in the chat. Hopefully Tess put that in.
I did, yeah.
She's an angel as well as being pretty easy on the eyes. So yes, there are 9th to 12th April. If you can make that one, you'll need to do quite a few Zoom calls with Tess to be prepared for it and do your style consult quickly. But yeah, there's very good prices on that if anyone else is thinking about that. We do qualify our clients. So yeah, if you put your name in that survey, I think we ask for your age, occupation, maybe your city. Yeah, you should see some times with Tess tomorrow and or Tuesday. Thank you for the question. It's not Dorothy Dixer. And you can see the link there. Is that the right one? Who knows? I don't know anything. Okay, let's go on to the next point because my head is going. God, I got a 70% resting heart rate. It was higher before. So let's get that off. And oh, by the way, my YouTube live software is scamming me. StreamYard are scammers. They just upped the price 3 times. 3 times. They moved me to another program and then they upped the price 3 times. StreamYard are scammers. Like the reviews all over the internet. So anyway, you're probably interested in that. Actually, my psychology, we've done that. Okay. I'm the honest dating coach. I don't lie to you and say, do 2 sessions with Tess and 3 supermodels will land on your dick the very next day. That's probably not going to happen. It could, but it's probably not going to happen. So one of the things you'll do with Tess, and again, I'm being honest here. I'm the honest dating coach as well as the good one. You need to go through a process of chasing so you never need to chase women again. Chase to never chase women again. I will answer this with a story, and I should possibly shut my window in case someone hears. I'm in a corporate environment now, so I'm a wee bit cautious with what I do. But there was one rather fetching young lass who took my interest, but I had to back out on that because I felt I didn't have enough of a connection with her, despite a hell of a lot of sexual attraction. And she was, again, female psychology, she was very, very nervous around me, like extremely nervous. 2 or 3 times. I could, you non-meditators, you hardcore Darwinian go back to the food chain, which I could be one of. You people who don't think there's energy will think I'm a whack job here, but I could sense how her heart rate was just going bananas, just like the model at the door, and I could read her body language and the way she was fidgeting when I called her over to my table. And another time where I didn't talk to her where I could have. So I thought that could really go pear-shaped in a corporate environment. So I backed out on that. But she was not, there's like 350 people here, and there's 4 girls I would consider having sex with if they're interesting enough. One is like legitimate high-level agency model hot. She's 5'7", so if she was 5'10", legitimate high-level agency model, get booked in the next week if she got a good photographer. If she's attractive in photos as she is in real life, she'd get booked next week. Like extremely hot girl. And there's one young one who's kind of interesting, and there's a Russian one I kind of like, but she's with this nice guy. So yeah, you got to chase women to never get chased again. So 2 nights ago, I was off on my own with a guy I really like, talking about business and life rather than networking as I usually do. And this girl just comes up and asks to sit beside us. And she says, oh, the seats are wet and it hasn't rained for 2 days. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And she sits again, female psychology, female psychology, female psychology. I should probably put the last one up. Can you put the last one up? Was it female psychology? So, and then she sits down, but this is what men do to women, and she's doing it to me. And she's like spectacular, like one of the hottest girls I've seen this year, possibly easily the hottest girl I've seen this year by far, maybe one of the hottest girls I've seen last year. And so she sits on a table, but we're sitting equidistant. This is what all you nice guys do. And she's like stuck on the edge, eating on the corner. I'm like, this is weird. So I finished my conversation with this guy I really like. I'm usually networking surrounded by people. I did another spit on the screen. Sorry about that. But this time I was just having a one-on-one. So this was her chance to actually meet me. And when she got here, she definitely had a guy with her who was sort of 6'4" and handsome and sounded quite accomplished. Maybe they've broken up. It could be because I haven't seen them much together. She's sitting there, and I probably don't talk to her for 4 or 5 minutes because I'm finishing the conversation. And I turn her and go, oh, how are you enjoying this thing? And she's nervous talking to me. And I find out about her degree, and it wasn't something that really turned me on. So I keep talking to her. Then her friend comes I can't really say too much in case anyone watches this. Turns out she does a job that closely aligns with social coach. And then oh, wow, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. And we sort of swap professional notes. And then as soon as her friend, so she sat there by herself being ignored for 5 minutes, waiting for me to talk to her. And as soon as her friend comes along and completely blows her out, so, oh, we're going to talk about the fact we've got such a big professional overlap. She runs away without saying anything. And she was literally sitting there, pretty much finished her food, waiting for me to stop talking to this happened later. Anyway, she'd basically eaten her food. She was still waiting for me to finish talking to this guy, which was just remarkable, given she only wanted to eat a dinner. So the fact I could see all this female psychology, and I could read she was super nervous. So yeah, it's just like, and the kicker, agency model hot. She just graduated university, so I'm guessing she's like 22, 23 or something. So I mean, I couldn't have fathomed in a million years this shit would be happening to me when I was 54. Just it's mind-blowing. But again, I've hacked female psychology. With the help of women like this, I'm probably a very, very good networker in terms of someone who's not a professional networker. And then she saw this, she saw all the people around me, she saw all the other girls interested, and she decided, well, what's this guy got going? And I never really talked to her because I met her with someone who was almost certainly her boyfriend, may not be anymore. So yeah, it's just, can we get back to the next point? So yeah, it's just like, I can't believe this happened myself. Some of you think I'm a liar. I think I'm a liar, but I was there and I had a witness who's probably going to be a good friend. So yeah, you've got to do the hard yards. Sorry, this isn't very sexy selling it, especially you guys on YouTube who don't want to work with Tess. You've got to actually go out and do those cold approaches. You can do the infield approaches you see on YouTube in terms of just getting from A to B. That gets you started. That gets you over anxieties. Most of you don't want to hear this. I'm not being a very good salesman here. It's really good to get some really good wings, get some skills and go out to bars. You got to fall on your ass sometimes. You got to get rejected. You got to learn what a good approach looks like. We're going to help you so much with that, but you still, it's not going to be 100% thing. You don't do a few dates with Tess and you never get rejected again. Well, I mean, that could happen, but again, you're going to be living in a very, very small world. So when you learn to cold approach, it's like moving from some tiny little country town with like 50 or 100 people and going to live in Manhattan. It's a complete and utter life changer. And the core skill of cold approach, which is not how you get your dream girl, which is not how you get a woman who will treat you with respect for 20 years, but it's how you get from A to B and get the social skills to get that girl. So what I'm saying here is you've got to do cold approaches for a while. We recommend 3 months if you can make that the second most important thing in your life, in consultation with working on Zoom with Tess and Natalia and Val and Coda and all that. But yeah, once you have the cold approach skill, I hardly ever use it, and I'm still getting laid with women 30 years younger than me. Yeah, so I use what I talked about at the start. I take over social situations, or I think we're going to get to this point soon, or I read signals and I figure out that girl's noticed me in a big way, and I make a note of that, and then I approach her in a completely different way to the way I would in a cold approach situation. So another thing that very few dating coaches seem to understand, you've got cold approach, how you approach a girl. Then you've got invited approach, how you approach a girl. If you get an invited approach and you do a cold approach, which a lot of famous dating coaches still teach, it just goes nuts. It just goes bananas and screws up. So you've got to do an invited approach, which is much more low key, much less alpha male, much more humble. But most people don't seem to understand this. They're probably watching, one of like 700 people who will watch this and they'll copy me again. I'm sick of being copied. So anyway, I might throw over to Tess on this.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, guys, you need practice. You need practice. So, you're not going to be able to enforce a skill unless you put it into practice. And that's why, when we do go through the training with the guys, the most important thing is that you are not just practicing with women who intimidate you. The easiest place to start is with people other men, people who don't intimidate you. Your friends, your family, and then after you become confident with that, then you take step by step. So it's pretty much the same with any other new skills that you're learning. You can't just expect that you will be a master just through theory or just through working with me on Zoom alone. You really do have to get out there and put the skills into practice and approach women and get that experience under your belt. That's really, really important.
Do you hop into a boxing ring and start beating the crap out of people your weight? No. Do you hop on a basketball court and start making 3-pointers? No. Can you even dribble naturally? No. Do you just go out in the water on this funny shaped thing and jump up on a surfboard and go down the face, let alone ride a tube? No, it's a skill. But 98% of you think you're just born confident and successful with women. It's a complete nonsense. Some of you may be from less screwed up, less brainwashed cultures than white or Asian, and you might do better than white or Asians just because you're born in Brazil. But it's still marginal. The Brazilian guys who've done a bit are going to murder you. Getting better with women is a skill you need to learn. It's a skill you need to learn. If you do it through make money, go to the gym, lift weights, buy expensive clothes, buy expensive cars, you're going to have the most horrible life on the planet. You'd be far better off jerking off to porn. Probably better off being in prison. Some guys have said, I'd rather be in prison than go through that divorce. It's like unimaginable pain, going through this horrible process with someone who is the mother of your children, who controls the thing you love the most in the world. So just chase to never have to chase again. I think I had some things I wanted to say on that. Whatever, I stand before you telling you these stories, which my clients certainly believe. Hopefully some of you believe. The one I just told you, I don't even believe. I'm like, this is wacky stuff, especially when I'm nearly 55. I was horrible with women. I sort of got a bit of the skills through my sales career and public speaking career. Then it took me years of travel and trying to meet, Croatians and African Americans and Brazilians and Israelis and guys who weren't brought up in a horrendously repressed culture, or Australian guys who'd traveled a bunch and ended up working in a hostel. He was one of my best mentors. Or even an English guy who went and volunteered in a famous ashram for a long time, who became really dangerous. English could potentially be worse than Australians with women. No, that's not true. They're a bit more charismatic and chatty. You got to chase so that you never need to chase women again. It's a process you have to do. And if you guys are over 40 or over 50 or over 60 already, you better hop to it, Buster. Otherwise, you're going to have MeToo complaints, settling for women. A lot of my clients who are 55 talk somewhat unflatteringly about having sex with women around their age group, to put it very, very discreetly and mildly. When so many of you, certainly the guys who come onto our boot camps, you can easily date women 20 or 30 years younger. You just need a wee bit of skill. So again, did you hop on a surfboard and ride down the face? Did you make your first 3-point shot like Steph Curry? No, I don't think Steph Curry did either. So you're not going to either. So you've just got to understand, I'm not lying to you. What did we call this? Why chasing young women kills attraction and what actually works. This is what we're giving you tonight. But you're going to have to do a bit of chasing to get to that position. And we're the experts at helping you chase, including the pretty girl sitting in front of you. Okie dokie, and there should be a link in the chat. Okay, what's our next wee point? Again, I'm feeling not very nice here. This internet is just wiping me out completely. For any health freaks, I'm gonna have to go earth pretty savagely just to sleep properly tonight. Oh, we don't have any more questions. Anyway, you guys better hammer the questions soon, because and Tess wasn't feeling good before this. I had to beg her, get down on my knees and beg her to come on. That's a slight exaggeration, but I want to be very respectful to my #1 star employee. Okay, the next banner. Don't buy StreamYard, they're scammers. Okay, chase women again. Okay, hope this one doesn't get me in a wee bit of trouble. You want to make MeToo your best friend, because it is. That's one of the reasons I'm telling you these wacky stories I don't even believe. That is my fancy way of saying learn to read signals. Learn to read signals, and you will be cheering the excesses, what many people feel are the excesses of the Me Too movement on, because what it's done is it's wiped out, I just don't understand these homophobic guys who hate gay guys. They've opted out of the race voluntarily. How good is that? It's more hot girls for me. And then not only do they opt out the race, they take another guy with them. In some cases, they take another 25 guys to the gay point, which just leaves more girls for me. And you get these guys who are horrendously homophobic. I'm like, can't you do maths? Like really basic maths? I just don't understand this. Anyway, similarly, we want cheer on the gay guys, more gay guys, just very few straight guys. So it's all for me and my clients. So yeah, go gay guys, go Mardi Gras. Similarly, Me Too is probably even better, worse, whatever, for the guys who learn to read signals and learn female psychology, because they're all ours. All the girls are ours. Every guy with tall, handsome, been down the police station because he can't read signals. He's had his career threatened, had his career ruined. Make Me Too your friend. Just learn to read signals, learn female psychology, learn conversation. It's unreal. It's unreal. And COVID made a lot of women a bit more socially awkward than they have been before. So I know a huge number of you guys are complaining bitterly about how you're scared of doing this and you're scared of doing that. You should be. You really should be. But when you get the skills Tess teaches, it's just like, I just can't fathom how easy it is for me at 54. I can't fathom this is possible. And largely it's because of what happened following the Harvey Weinstein thing, I think. I don't really have, obviously I've got a level of skill, but my level of skill with women is a tiny, 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 like infinite fraction of what it was 10, let alone 15 years ago. I'm not that guy anymore, but I'm still getting outsized results with all the gray, and I'm so skinny now. I was in a wheelchair for 2 months last year. It's just get the reading signals, get the female psychology, get the basic conversation, the date plan. It's just astounding. It's truly astounding. So this is really about reading signals, but I got carried away with a lot of other stuff. So let me see. Yeah, it's like if you can read signals, and understand female psychology, it's pretty much an antidote to being caught in the Me Too problems. I mean, that's not entirely true, because if you sleep with a lot more girls or date much higher quality girls and you start breaking their heart, there's going to be some level of give back there. But you're separating yourself from so many people. A number of times I hear some super high level guy say, I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to lose all my assets. I don't want some fake lawsuit. And a lot of wealthy guys, they've had all these fake lawsuits. I coached a guy who lives on the most expensive street in Australia, Wolseley Road, Point Piper. He's claimed it was a $50 million house. And yeah, he's been down the cop station twice. And this guy's a wuss with women. And all his 3 other hedge fund, corporate finance, equity raising friends, they've all been down the police station. Another one's been down there too. And some of the stories are just ridiculous. Like, how did the police even listen to this nonsense? But they do. So yeah, but the reason is because, anyway, he just ignored my boot camp because he was so in love with someone and did no approaches, was a loser because the money didn't matter to him and we were friends anyway. He was too scared to even do one approach. Not my usual student. This is pre-Tess coaching and beforehand. But yeah, just it's so scary if you don't have these skills. It's like winning lotto if you do have these skills. Tess, I don't know if you can comment on this or add to it from your girlfriend peer group, or how clueless guys are when you first go on a Zoom date. You can talk about that. Like profoundly clueless, even guys who think they're really good at this. We had one a few days ago. It was like, what the hell are you doing, man? And even though he made plenty of money, he didn't take up the coaching. Anyway, Tess, I'll throw to you.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, this is really about reading signals, what James said. But when you're able to do that and pick up on, understand female psychology, but also pick up on when she's either testing you as opposed to maybe a slight rejection, etc., you're never going to come across as creepy, because you're never going to overstep a boundary and push her away, because you'll see that happening in real life, like in real time. So this is also a superpower, reading signals. So many guys are just absolutely oblivious to this stuff. In one regard, reading positive signals when women want their attention, and these guys just don't see it. They're like, oh, that girl's just, I don't know, I keep seeing her around and she's really loud and she's drawing my attention. But you don't realize that she's actually manipulating that situation so that she wants your attention, right? But then on the other hand, and this one is super, super, super important, not reading her signals when she's a little bit uncomfortable, or you've overstepped a boundary and she's pulling away, there's like a bit of a micro rejection there, and you keep pushing, and then she'll run away, so that's really, really, really important. Reading signals, what it does is it just puts you so much further ahead of every other average guy who doesn't understand this stuff, because it's just a skill that no one has really, unless this is literally 100% of our clients. 100% of our clients, they're like, when they start to learn this stuff, they're like, this is a game changer, absolute game changer. It's like I'm seeing the world in a new lens. Like, it's just, like they just can't believe it's so simple and that they couldn't see it before. So that's the feedback that we get constantly.
Yeah, ironically, I'm really proud of the course, and I've had compliments about all the modules, the sex module, and that the course we get when we onboard our students. So we get you to the highest level possible pre-boot camp, so you don't cause any troubles when we go out in the real world, in field. But yeah, the most compliments I get is the reading signals one. I did one of my events, and this event was really focused intensely on reading signals. The model, Monique, got on stage and did an incredible job of demonstrating different ways of attracting men's attention. Tess, a model, is very, very good at this also. And on the same event, we also went to trouble of dressing Australian guys who don't dress too well in the main. A couple of Melbourne ones aren't too bad. The rest of you, the garbage men in France dress a hell of a lot better than the Aussie hedge fund managers. Way better, way better. Well, at least they did 20 years ago. I'm not sure about now. So yeah, and this is one of the most memorable moments in my entire dating coach history, apart from testimonials, guys crying and shit like that, and women crying for what I did to their son or something in front of me. That's memorable. But yeah, sorry, I got lost. So yeah, I did this teach reading signals, teach style. Then all these guys were coming up to me, like 5'4", 5'3", 54 years old, bottom quartile of attractiveness. And they're going, oh, out at lunch today, all these women were checking me out and paying attention, and one even tried to talk to me. I'm like, really? Are you serious? Like, yeah. And a lot of them following this event got girls they never did before. It's because you're not, back to my metaphor of, I'm not going through the phone book trying to find guys to do my sort of priced for reasonably successful guys or people who really want it badly. Dating boot camp. Hey, hello. I'm wondering if you want some more skills with women. I've got a bunch of models who I've trained to give you elite social skills. You interested in that? I'm a woman. I like guys. I just get hung up on the whole time. That's the way you guys go after women, particularly if you watch YouTube. You're just cold calling through the phone book. It's insane. It's asinine, but you keep doing it. So yeah, just get these skills. Everything turns around. Why did I say that? There was a really good reason I said that. This Wi-Fi is just doing my head in. Don't stay at this hotel. Unfortunately, we are. So make MeToo your best friend. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, read signals, female psychology. Yeah, and again, if you have a bit of money in the post-Harvey Weinstein era, you need these skills, reading signals, female psychology, before you even consider a relationship with a woman. There's just too much downside. There's just too much downside to relationships with women to risk it if you don't have these skills, because, police station, etc., family court, and you just got to have practice. The other thing, and this is one of the big sticking points I had, I like most of you guys had this idea, despite being successful in finance and successful in sport, that I made enough money and bought the right design label clothes that this woman would just land on my dick magically. I had this belief too. Well, this internet's really freaking my head out. So I just thought she'd magically land on me. So one thing you've got to get through, I don't know if I can say this anymore, but promiscuous women, the word beginning with S for promiscuous women, S bleep, are community service workers. So you want to take advantage of these promiscuous girls to actually get your skills up. One guy basically replied in the comments, unless you're female coaches and nuns who've never been touched by a guy, or some Muslim woman who's been hidden under this burqa her entire life, they were saying she's got no value as a dating coach because she's not been really promiscuous. I'm like, Tess does not seem like one of the more promiscuous female coaches by a long way. One or two of them are, but they bring a lot of intellectual property to me by being somewhat promiscuous. But yeah, you've got to use those promiscuous girls as like training wheels. The feminists will be getting onto me now for highlighting using promiscuous women, just enjoying their female liberation as training wheels for guys who want to do better and meet their dream girl. But it's true. So yeah, stop being scared of women who are slightly promiscuous. The third girl I ever slept with, second if you don't count my virginity, which was debatable whether there was any actual virginity losing given how flaccid my penis was, and she might have just rubbed me and I came with the rub. Whether I actually got in there is debatable. Sorry to gross you guys out with this on YouTube. Tess didn't seem impressed by my attempt at humor then. But yeah, the third girl or the second girl I slept with was literally a model. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. We just got stuck on this tour of Europe and every other guy was just wretched apart from me. Whatever. And we did have a good connection. But yeah, I knew going into it that she'd slept with some French guy the night before, which I found revolting. I made sure I checked with the chemist on the tour whether I should double bag her. But yeah, every time that I couldn't feel the condom or see it, what did I get? But yeah, she was an incredible stepping stone for me. She was an incredible stepping stone. And if I had pulled back on that, I might still be essentially a virgin who got nowhere. So use the more promiscuous girls as stepping stones. Just wanted to add that to the Me Too movement. But yeah, learn female psychology and learn reading signals, lest you end up at the police station or worse. Okie dokie. Ralph's got a great question. Questions need to come now because I'm signing off soon. I'm not feeling well at all. Sorry about mentioning this, but yeah, I had to actually buy an RF meter, and this thing is like, it's like bright red when I get near here. radio frequency meter. Okay, so I'll do my last point, then we'll throw to Ralph, and any questions we get quite soon. And my StreamYard, who are scammers, who have triple charging me or kicking me off. This silly old duffer will have to learn a new software, and Tess will have to learn new software, and all our assets will fall to pieces. They're scamming me, and the banners keep following to the bottom. Thank you so much, Ralph. I just need to get out to nature to do this. Okay, as I said, I leave some of the most important points to last intentionally, so you guys have to watch. There's lots of good stuff. If you're inexperienced with women, if you've spent more than 40% of your life single, if you've had a long relationship, if you've just done I go on dates with girls, I hop into a relationship with them, I'm immediately monogamous, and I wait till the relationship's clearly over before I sleep with any other girls. If that's one of you, which is most men, you got to change your opinions, man. You got to change your opinions. If I just do jiu-jitsu once a month for the next year or two, how much better will I get at jiu-jitsu? Probably none. I'll probably have my wrist thrown out, and I have my wrist ripped out and my knee socket ripped out. If I do that with golf, if I play golf once a month, how much better will I get? Not much. Again, this is not stuff that's going to help me sell to you. It's the truth. You got to have some fun. If you want to meet your dream girl, and you haven't slept with a fair number of girls already, I'm not going to mention this on YouTube. I don't mean you dragged some girl home from a bar where you both had too many drinks. I don't mean it was the only girl who'd hook up with you on a dating app or even Instagram. I mean gone out, been a man, and actually been a hunter and gone girls yourself. If you haven't done a bit of that, then you're going to have some fun with this before you find your dream girl, especially now, because so many guys, including this, someone was saying about rich guys have it easier with women. So many rich guys, they just settle for some waitress at the golf club or the concierge at the sailing club or some secretary. I mean, women gold diggers talk about this relentlessly. If you want to hook some doctor, some surgeon, become a nurse. If you want to hook some highly paid dentist, become a dental nurse. If you want to, I mean, also the story I told you earlier about the stupendously hottest girl, she just graduated hospitality school, and there's hospitality schools that are high level 5-star hospitality schools. They're not hospitality schools, they're gold digger schools. They just want the guys in the 5-star hotels traveling on business, pulling up in the Bentleys and the Range Rovers. And air hostesses. Get a job in first class as an air hostess. Half your job's done. That's what the wealthy guys end up with, and they complain their life's gone to shit. So yeah, you got to have some fun with women first. You got to have some fun with women first. This is also for the women. One of the reasons I'm probably a really good boyfriend if I find someone I really care about at my age is because I've practiced. I've made a lot of mistakes. And if you look at the top 6 women of my life, I've hurt all of them savagely by being a bit clueless and a bit young. I wish to God I could get some of those women back and impregnate them pretty quick at my age, but none of them are of childbearing age anymore. Tess, can you talk about a guy who's got some experience and you can sense it, and how it's so much more attractive than some clueless, tall, handsome guy, even if you guys have a great connection?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess when guys don't have any experience with women, it's very, very obvious. Again, it's about, you can tell that they don't understand your tests or your psychology, or they, oftentimes, even though, they might be ticking boxes, it is actually harder to connect. And also, this is a really obvious one, but obviously in the bedroom, if you're inexperienced with women in the bedroom, unless you've got a really nice woman who's willing to teach you a few things, it can just be a bit of a turn off as well, because there's nothing more sexy than a guy who does know what he's doing in the bedroom. That's really going to hook women. So it's really important to get some experience under your belt. Again, the more women you have relationships with, have sex with, the more you're going to be learning about women, because we're not all exactly the same. A lot of the stuff we teach you is you know, it is attractive to all women, but there are like nuances within that as well. Some women are more attracted to certain things than others. It's, yeah, you've and that's why reading signals is really important as well, because you can't just have a formula for how you treat all women. You need to know what works and why it works, but then be able to, you know, individually tailor that to each scenario. So it is complex, but the more experience you have with women, the easier that will be. So yeah, you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to do it. Get the experience under your belt, and it's fun. It's great. It's awesome. Like, why wouldn't you want to be with more women? Yeah.
Thanks, Tess. Yeah, so some of you older, I mean, so many guys, we like post-COVID, we've really focused like exclusively on over 40s. We coach some guys a little bit younger, and the 50s and the 60s, so through to early 60s, lots of early 60s, maybe one or two older ones. So you guys don't want to hear that, you know, you have to play the field for a while. But if you want happiness with women, you kind of do. You kind of do. Because you're just not going to find happiness with women if you don't get some experience. Again, you didn't hop in a boxing ring and win fights. You didn't hop on a guitar and play Stairway to Heaven. You just need to go through the thing. And I mean, Tess touched upon a staggeringly good point. When you meet your girl, when you meet the dream girl, potentially the mother of your children, if any of you are still looking at that, you want to be really good in the bed, because as Tess said, nothing hooks a woman like that. And when you know you've got that, nothing makes you confident like, I don't give a shit how hot you are. I'm better than anyone you've ever even talked to, let alone been with. When you've got that, I have a fair bit of that today, but I used to have a lot of that. And it's just like, you're just bulletproof. And we teach sex in our course, and we've got a course where we teach better sex training than anything I've seen on YouTube. But anyway, I'm very biased in my opinion. Lots of my clients agree with me though, guys who've done other courses and stuff. Yeah, because again, social coach is so much about getting high quality women, not a bit contradictory what I'm putting here. It's not necessarily about sleeping with hundreds and hundreds of girls or competing with Errol Flynn or Wilt Chamberlain. It's about getting high quality women, not the most women. But most women is, you know, at least a few women is something you want to do to start. Is that my final point? I think it could be. So Ralph had a question. If anyone has any questions, you better hop in quickly, because I just got a 77 resting heart rate sitting at my desk, and my foot's starting to swell up, which is an injury I had last year. So I'm doing some serious distress to myself, trying to get you guys your dream girlfriend. So Ralph's question, then if anyone else has a question, we might just do a quick run through, because I think this has been very, very valuable. Get hot girls to chase you. I usually get the pretty one to do this, but she's not. Actually, you can do it, Tess. I'm not feeling the best now. You probably feel better than me.
That's okay. So number one is get the hot girls to chase you. So this is about having the social skill to dominate a environment, to get the women, you know, they're looking at you. They're like, oh, who's this guy? Rather than you just chasing them. Number two is just do more approaches is insane. So again, if you're just you think it's just a numbers game and you're like reinforcing bad skills by just practicing, that's not a good thing. What you need to do is focus on quality. Quantity is also important as well, but quality is hugely important. Number three is hot girls hate rejection. And this is about, you know, once you've got them hooked a little bit or a bit interested, don't put them on a pedestal. You know, you've got to don't be so available to them that they just get turned off completely. Number four is learn to hunt your own meat and avoid amber herds. What this means is, if you're the kind of guy who has just been really passive in dating and let women approach you, and you've just go with the flow and just stick it out and settle for women even when you don't have great connections or she just manipulates you, whatever. This is usually when things turn toxic and women lose respect for you. So you need to learn how to take charge of your dating life and, you know, be selective about the women who you really actually want to be with, and women will really respect you for that. Number 5 is hack female psychology. Okay, this is going to put you above absolutely everyone else, and I always talk about this. You need to understand why women are attracted to certain things. Number 6 is chase to never need to chase again. So yeah, tonight's about not chasing women, but little disclaimer, like, you need to practice. You need to practice so that you have the skill and you don't have to do that in the long term. Okay. Number 7 is make MeToo your best friend. This is really about reading signals, understanding women, when they're giving positive signals and negative signals, so that you're never that creepy guy who's pushing too hard, crossing boundaries, etc. You don't want to be that guy. You need to learn how to read women's signals. And then lastly, number 8 is fun fucking first. And that's just about you need the sexual experience, and you need the experience with women in general to get a broader understanding of women. But again, to, when that woman who you really, really want to make things work with, or, you want to approach this woman who previously seemed like she was out of your league, you need to have the experience to back you there. You don't want to stuff it up when you've got that opportunity, like, this is the one. You want it to work, so you need the experience. Yeah.
Thanks, Tess. Just a couple of questions. We really are going to go soon, so you better get them through now. I'm not feeling well at all. Question, James, have you tried many cold approaches? Yeah, hundreds. I do at least 3 or 4, sometimes 8, 10 every boot camp. I've done so many. And I have got great girl, especially when I talk about bookstores or something. And I've met a few in bars. I got one, the great woman of my life, in a bar. She wasn't psychologically the great woman of my life, but in terms of her impact on my life, she's one of the great women of my life. I got her in a bar. I've had another long-term girlfriend in a bar. That worked out badly. I mean, I don't know if I've probably done thousands. I've done hundreds. Many, many hundreds. Probably is thousands. So yeah, it's a core building block of getting to the point where you can get women to come to you and you can have happiness with women. Having said that, I had to learn all this myself. When I went and sought out dating coaches, what they were teaching was just completely dreadful. Dress like a Fruit Loop, tell her nose wiggles when she talks, abuse her, just do the dumbest stuff ever. Nothing about reading body language or anything like that. Never heard of a date plan. None of the common sense that we teach that I had to figure out myself. Also figure out with the peer group of this group of models whose feedback has built this system today. Ralph, obviously a lot of people I've helped. I think from memory you're 6 foot something, 6'4" or something. Have you tried many cold approaches? If you're 6'4", you're getting interest from women all the time, unless you dress like a homeless person. Women are always looking at men. They're always looking at men. When Tess and I, or when whatever Natalia and I go out in the boot camp, we just laugh our freaking ass off, and our approach coaches, how all these women is moving around trying to get the attention of guys who are just so completely clueless. I've said before, when I started as a dating coach, I was guys just worshiped me and said James is magic and all this sort of stuff. I wasn't magic at all. I was much better at cold conversation than the average guy. But my magic was the fact that I walked into a venue or a bar, or even a bookstore, in a certain way, and I tailored the people I walked in with, and I changed my walking style from a hunchback to something a bit more confident. And then I just sort of looked at certain girls, and I looked for signals. So say there's 5 really attractive girls, a particular bar I took my clients into. 2 or 3 of them just completely ignored me. 1 or 2 might have looked at me. Who were the ones I talked to? The ones who checked me out. But the checkout is so small that virtually everyone here would miss it. But we teach you. We have an amazing reading signals training. And then Tess works with you on Zoom, and then especially the boot camp, we take that to a whole new level. But just the reading signals training alone, guys, have got great results out of. If you have any follow-up questions, Ralph, given you're a regular, would love to help you as long as you get it through right freaking now. Get well soon, James. Thank you. I don't know what's the state I'm going to be in tomorrow. Don't stay at this hotel. I'm here now, so I don't want to bag them too much. This is like toxic as anything. James did an online boot camp back in 2002 and had style analysis done. My wardrobe was more loose fitting and resulting advice was to wear more slim fit. Has the consensus changed since 2022? No, absolutely not. But we would need to look, if your body shape has changed massively, that could change things. If you put on a lot of weight, we might tell you to wear different colors or different fits or even different styles. If you shrunk or had one of those plastic surgery leg extensions, that could change stuff too, but that's probably a low probability outcome. That's me trying to be funny and not amusing anyone apart from myself. So yeah, probably not. It would probably be very, very similar. Having said that, I don't know who did it. Tess and I have probably gone to a level quite a way above where Jackie, Val and I were. Not there's anything wrong with Jackie and Val. They're wonderful. But yeah, Tess and I have done so many of these. Tess especially has done so many of these. We've got it down to a science. The other thing we've added for Australian guys, which will also help American guys, we've got, once you do the style consult, there's this huge shopping list we give you that, to be honest, that's worth 20 grand alone to most people. Because if you can just find clothes to dress stylishly in Australia, you've already gone from a 7 to a 9.5 out of 10 in one jump. Again, whatever success I have, so much of it is I just dress in a way that attracts women. There's so much to this stuff. Any of you are familiar with the Bauhaus School of Architecture? I realized that my style consult was just Bauhaus style, which had already been applied to architecture and design and the MacBook and the iPhone and a whole bunch of other stuff. So very unlikely it's changed. If you've only done the online program, we've hopefully got you off to a good start. As I said earlier, I should have probably said at the start, I was about to send out an email for a couple of pullouts to the April 9 to 12 boot camp. So if you want a much better price than you would have got last week and you'll probably get next week on a boot camp, click the link, and if you've done the online thing, you're probably going to pass the application process automatically. So that's something to consider. Okie dokie, it looks like we get to have a slightly early night. Usually I'm begging for questions, but tonight I'm quite grateful for it. Anything you want to sum up? Oh, it's just even giving me a sore throat, man. Anything you want to sum up with, Tess?
No, yeah, I think tonight's been really great. Thank you for your questions and comments, guys. We love your engagement. And yeah, if you're new here as well, like and subscribe. That really helps us to continue giving you this content. And yeah, looking forward to potentially seeing some of you guys in the next couple of days.
P.S. Nico, just let me know if you booked in okay, in case the link's working. Do you have a 2 p.m. one, Tess?
2
no,
p.m.
Might be, no, I think that
yeah.
You must have booked in successfully.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and was it James or someone? James, yeah, if you were a student before, we'd love to have you back at a good price, and you got a great chance with the April 9 to 12 boot camp. So I'd rather just fill those spots and get it filled so I can worry about growing YouTube rather than trying to sell programs. So it will be kind of sexy, particularly for an ex-student. Yeah, so I say this most weeks, but I mean, in terms of delving into female psychology, tonight was pretty good. We've done a few that I'm very proud of, but I think tonight was really, really good. So yeah, for guys who aren't going to pay us, watching this again at double speed is probably not a poor use of time in terms of getting the goals you want. And if you do, at least leave a copy, a nice comment on the replay, because that helps us so much, gets us more views, and you'll have much more. We could easily go to twice a week for these. The American guys watching, I should say at the start, if you leave comments, we're going to do them on your time. Tess and I have talked about that and arranged it already. But we just need more views. We're getting quite a few sales from our little tiny infinitesimal ant dick number of views. But yeah. We need more comments and likes, and you got to hit that bell. You got to hit the bell. You got to hit the fucking bell. Apparently that helps us out so much. I don't understand why, but apparently it does. Anyway, keep smiling and bye for now. Thanks for Tess being a trooper when she's not feeling the best, and thanks to James for surviving this torture of crazy Asian hotel Wi-Fi. Anyway, the business conference has been great. See you guys. Keep smiling and bye for now.